Welcome to another review and discussion. On this episode, we're talking about the killing of a sacred deer. I am Ace.
And I'm Raccoon.
We've both seen the film this time, just like kind of a batch of films we're doing at the moment.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
But first of all, we're going to talk about our cinematic experience before we actually get into any spoiler content.
Yeah.
Do you want to start first?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I saw a very small showing because this film is kind of like one of those more low-key films. And I think we had about 7 people in the screening. Everyone was very comfortable, but as the film went on, everyone got very uncomfortable. So it was an interesting kind of situation. There was a lot of wriggling about in the chairs and that, and I kind of recall one lady just as soon as seeing the credits just like gone. I don't know if she just needed to go somewhere or she was had feelings towards what had just transpired. I don't know. It was kind of hard to tell with a rushing woman walking past me. But, we'll see. Lots of snacks were open though in the beginning of the film, which wasn't appropriate with the opening scene.
No, definitely not. But for my cinematic experience, it's actually going to sound really weird, okay? So I saw this very late in the evening. I can't remember the exact time. And I timed it perfectly. So, okay, including credits, I'll be able to make it home on the last train.
Mm-hmm.
Like, including trailers, everything like that. The trailers went on for about 30 to 40 minutes.
Oh, man.
So I didn't see the whole film. I've seen half of the film.
Oh, you kidding, man?
So this is going to be an interesting review.
Oh, jeez, dude.
And this was the last showing
of
this cinema.
Oh, no.
But I have an interesting thing I want to do on this review and discussion.
I'm legit tearing up, man.
I'm going to predict how the rest of the film went based on from what I've seen.
Okay. All right.
But I want to say from what I've seen, middling kind of recommendation from me. Do you want to recommend?
Strong recommendation.
Strong? Okay.
It's high.
So from where I finished the film.
Spoilers.
Yes.
We're getting into spoilers now, guys.
Definitely spoilers. Was when he's force feeding his son a donut.
Okay.
That's the last bit I saw. So here's my prediction for the rest of the film, and depending on how right I am, could change things.
Okay.
I feel like as the film's going to go across, obviously all of his family are going to start succumbing to whatever that thing is.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to be the boy, then the girl, and then the mum.
Okay.
The mum is going to somehow find out that the dad was drunk during the surgery.
Okay.
Because a line that stuck out to me, and it was like a sore thumb, was during the party scene.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, she said, he hasn't drunk in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they were trying to hide that line onto the other line of, my daughter started menstruating.
Yeah.
So it stuck out to me so much.
Okay.
I feel like that's a vital plot point.
All right.
And as it goes across, it's going to be like, no, but Dad, I'm dating him. He's, I'm going to help him. And stuff like that. And eventually, due to the name and the myth that it's based on, he's going to kill one of his family members. I'm going to guess, the daughter or the boy. Not the mum.
Okay.
That's how I think the story's going to go.
Okay. Fair enough. Obviously, there's probably people giggling at home.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So do you want me to tell you how this film ends?
Yes.
Okay. So as soon as, hopefully, people don't mind or have seen the film or, basically how the film ends as things kind of transpire. The daughter does eventually lose her ability to walk.
Okay.
And it does become a pretty bad situation for the parents. Eventually they do bring the kids to the house to basically live there because they're kind of better there because they can't figure out what exactly it is that is going on. Weirdly enough, the mother never gets paralyzed.
Okay, that's surprising.
Which is quite odd, but she does figure out that yes, he was drunk during the operation.
Knew it.
Only one person did. Only one person knew about this. She had to do some.
Is that the anesthesiologist guy?
I think it was, yeah.
Okay.
So she kind of figures out, and things get pretty bad. Especially given the fact that now that the daughter is paralyzed, she's she gets pretty nasty in this film for the most part. She's quite vicious in how she approaches things, and we do the way the film ends is the family's pretty much at the situation where they're like, yeah, this thing's kind of real because they pretty much kidnap Martin and beat him to a pulp.
Damn,
thinking that he's somehow made them sick.
Yeah.
But obviously realizing this is somewhat a weird real thing. He basically just decides one night, yeah, well, we got to do this.
Okay.
Basically, he's pretty much tied them up and like put a bag over their head, and he's like got his hunting rifle.
Yeah.
He basically has a beanie on his head, puts it over his face, and starts spinning around and taking shots.
Jeez.
When
okay.
He, expecting for someone to die.
Okay.
Someone does die, unfortunately, being Bob.
Okay.
Unfortunately dies after we get that incredibly disturbing scene of his eyes literally bleeding blood.
Yeah.
And I was like, thanks, I didn't really want to see that.
So I predicted that pretty good.
You did, yeah.
And this is where some of my problems come in from the film, the bit I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like some bits going for too long, and then when there is something, it's so ham-fistedly foreshadowed for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened. Like I got it right, I guess. That's a kind of problem I have with this film.
It could also be a detriment to just how you view films and that. Not that I'm
True.
saying that's a bad thing.
That's very possible.
The director could be like, yes, it worked. Everything I wanted people to get to the point you are. You don't know. Or he could have been like, oh man, it's the most mysterious, magical film no one will ever figure out. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
I get you.
There's nothing wrong with already figuring out the end of a film, especially if all the cards are already there. You know what I mean? But I really did enjoy this film.
Okay.
I thought, in almost every aspect, I thought it was really great. I think it was a bit too long, and I think that's my only complaint. The film is, I think, an hour and just under 2 hours, I think.
I think it's 10 minutes under 2 hours.
Yeah, I think it's too long.
Yeah.
Because there's a few scenes that could have been cut and could have been shortened, but I think the pacing of the film definitely gets more disturbed and better as the film goes on. So I have a feeling that you might like the film a little better if you finish it, because you might like what does happen during the film. Because when you said at that point, that's hardly the film.
yeah
That's like almost like it's not even halfway mark.
But then
for the most part,
talking about the cinematography, from what I saw, I thought I was rewatching The Shining, because that's all I kept thinking. You got these wide open like bits, characters very in the backgroundish, voyeuristic camera work, and sometimes, again, I felt some bits were far too overt. Like when they're talking to the doctor and it's zooming in on Martin, and it's like, I know exactly what you're saying, and you're saying it too overtly. It's... Yeah.
I thought it was... I really did like the cinematography. I liked how weird it was.
Okay.
I mean, I liked how it was angled, and I also liked the way that there was that kind of weird... It felt like someone was creeping up on these characters, this very tall, weird figure creeping up. And I did like how they did utilize a lot of the zooming in and out, and I did like a lot of the movements. I think sometimes it was done... very well. Yeah, there were a few shots where it was like, can you focus that shot, please?
Yeah.
But I did like it. It did feel like, it was kind of going more with the theme. This is a really weird film.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of just goes with it. You don't really know what's going on. Even just the whole situation of, your family's going to die is just very weird, and people don't talk normally in this film. Neither.
Yeah. That's one thing that intrigued me the most on what I saw. That the way the dialogue was, like, I'm not going to say it's outright Fargo-ish, because that's not true. It's more that it has that idea of the general kindness and simpleness at parts of dialogue.
Like, it's very monotone, and the way they speak to each other, it doesn't feel like a family dynamic. There's a lot of...
Very specific, precise.
I'm going to do this. Are you all right? Did you see this?
Yeah.
I'm going to... And it was very weird, especially the children. The children speak like adults.
And I think that's also what leads me to... Obviously, I said the boy or the girl would die at the end.
Mm-hmm.
The boy literally is more of a red flag, because... he listens to punk music and metal. He doesn't talk like the others. He likes his hair, which I'm guessing he probably cuts that because, no, Dad, don't kill me. I'll cut my hair or something. But I don't know. Yeah.
I see what you mean. Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, the daughter is the weirdest one of them all. She's really weird.
The singing was like weird. I was like,
I
okay.
think that's supposed to be weird.
Yeah. Oh no, in a good way.
Yeah, because she's really odd. Because there's a really weird scene where she's in a hospital bed and Matthew's like pretty much talking to her.
Yeah.
Because he gets pretty much thrown out by security once he pretty much tells him that, and he's just kind of very creepily just kind of on the phone in the parking lot, and he's speaking to her and she's saying something. She's like, "Really? Okay." So she just gets out of bed and just walks up to the window.
Wow.
And so obviously it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, is he able to? How does he know that she can walk now and only now?
Yeah.
I thought you were paralyzed. Stuff like that. And she does seem to like him, but Martin never does anything with her. He's very much like, you kind of get the feeling he's like, nah, your dad wouldn't really like that and things. And there's even a really, towards the end of the film, where one thing I did like is how they all try to gain the father's thing, don't kill me.
Yeah.
The kid does cut his hair, but even then, the way he does it, it's kind of like really messed up. Because one visual that was really kind of creepy in this film is these children just dragging their very limp bodies around the house, and that was really effective. But you just see this kid just dragging himself and just cutting his hair, and he's like, "See, Dad, I cut it just like you wanted to." Oh, actually, I'm thinking of being like a doctor, more like you, Dad. And the daughter is very much like she almost goes mental. She's pretty much like, "You do know I will die for you. I'm very happy. I will do this, anything. I don't care. I'm willing to die for you." And even the mother is just kind of just like, the same kind of shot where she's kind of posing. She kind of does the same. He's not interested.
Yeah.
Not interested. And weirdly enough, there's a scene in the film where the daughter does something very similar for Martin. I don't know if she saw her mother do that, but I guess it's just like mother like daughter, which I thought was quite interesting. But the daughter is the weirdest. Even a point towards the end where she literally goes to Martin when he's tied up in the basement, gives him a cigarette, and she's like, "Right, it's fine. I'll go with you anywhere you want. Just lift the cure and we'll go." And Martin's just smoking a cigarette, just not even looking at her. And she's like, "It's not working. Try again." He doesn't say nothing to her. Doesn't say nothing to her.
Damn.
He's like, he literally can't do anything. He's just like, whatever. And even the ending shot, which I think is great, where you just see them in that restaurant and they're just having their meal, and Martin walks in and the family just kind of looks at him and glares at him, and they just walk out. It's just how they just end the film.
That's quite funny.
Which I did like the way they ended it, because it was kind of like, I guess he was right, kind of, maybe. And that's the one thing I did like about the film. It leaves the right things up for interpretation. It does leave you thinking, like, why did the mother never get sick?
Yeah.
Like, maybe she was sick and she was just able to walk somehow. Maybe she never was. Maybe this was all psychological. Don't know, maybe Martin did, because he did obviously somewhat imply revenge. Maybe he somehow did.
Yeah.
You don't know. There's enough things are left there. And I kind of like how weird and unapologetic this film is, and I think that's why I like it a little bit more. I think you will like it a lot more if you actually finish it. So, not to be rude to you and the people listening, don't take our opinions don't confuse them too much. Don't assume that I think it's the best film. Rather than assume that Ace thinks it's bad.
I think it's disappointing from what I've seen.
Well, well, if that's going to be your stance, then that's fine. What I'm saying is, don't read that much into it, I guess. You should decide for yourself whether you want to see this film or not. I mean, it's left cinemas, but watch it someday, I guess. But I did really like this film. I really did enjoy it. So
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I liked it. I didn't expect to enjoy it, but I did.
Yeah. I think it's like this director in general I've had issues with before, like with The Lobster. I only liked the first half. Thought the last half was terrible.
I've not seen The Lobster.
Yeah.
Don't really want to.
And what was it? Dogville? No, not Dogville. It has dog in the title, I think. I can't remember. The only thing I can remember that from is when the guy tapes his VHS tape to his hand, and then I'm not going to spoil the rest of it, but that scene was like, oh god, I accidentally laughed my first time watching that because it was shocking.
Okay.
So yeah, but I can't remember much of the rest. No, I remember the ending. Yeah, I'm mixed on this guy's films. Very.
It might be intentional, given how all over the place they are.
Yeah.
Because he's just gone. To some extent, he's gone straight from the Lost, a comedy, to a horror to some extent.
I wouldn't say that film was comedy. The one I was talking about before. Like
I was talking about the Lobster.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like, is it
dark comedy
to creepy horror thing? You know, it's odd. It seems very intentional to some extent.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if all the films are linked. You know.
Yeah.
I hope not.
I don't think the Lobster would.
No.
Make sense,
Of course not. But I'm saying like you can.
Yeah.
Lesser people will be like they're all linked.
Oh,
they're all in the
God.
same. It all happens at the same time. You know, all that silliness for the most part. The one thing I just want to quickly add is I really like the sound design.
Okay.
And I also like the soundtrack. I like just how randomly placed and threatening and scary it was for like almost in a comical way to some extent. Like the daughter's just singing it in a quiet and then she drops and you just hear this music just play like, oh my god, it's the scary bit. I liked how it was placed. It was weird. Like the moments that are creepy, they don't play music, but for weird, shocking moments, they're like, oh, get the synthesizer, scary music out, you know.
See, that reminds me of The Shining again. That's my thing. Like the cinematography and the sound design just kept reminding me of The Shining. That was my problem.
I never got
one
that.
of them. Okay.
I never got that, and I love The Shining.
I mean, I did watch The Shining like a week before.
Oh, that's why.
It wasn't intentional. I was showing it to my brother. So yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna like the hotel scene in The Killing of Sacred Deer or anything. You know, I mean, the dad just says, "Oh, don't go in the hotel room. I know you can't walk, but don't go in there." You know, then obviously one of the kids crawls in there and sees some. I'm joking.
Oh, no.
I am joking.
They'll see. It won't be the wolf. It'll be the mum or something.
Yeah, something weird like that. No. But yeah, this film is probably not going to get released on DVD until next year.
Probably not. No.
But if you have seen the film, let us know what you thought of it. Well, I'd be very interested to hear because I haven't actually heard a lot of people's opinions on this.
Okay.
I don't know. People could say this is the worst film ever. I really don't know.
That would be interesting to hear. I would say it's wrong.
No, it doesn't deserve that.
Yeah.
There's plenty of good things here. I mean, disappointing still means
the acting was fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah, even the children were really great. I mean, for them to have to do this was like great. I want to see those kids in more films. Yeah. Jeez. An interesting cast as well. You know, there's enough to like about this for it to never be called a bad film, basically. Yeah. You know, you can't say that. And if you do, I'll come find you. Come find you and I'll say, first is paralysis, then is...
just tell us your address at Raccoon Plus
friends@gmail.com and I will come find you. And then your family will start dropping one by one.
Oh, no.
Threats on film reviews, that's what YouTube is all about. If that's all we have to say, I guess
do let us know your opinion.
No, seriously, though, we would like to know what you guys are thinking about this film. But yeah, anything else you want to add?
That's all.
If that's the case, I'll end this I'll end this review and discussion. I was the Angry Raccoon.
I am Ace.
And we will see you in the next episode.